Hello everyone, this is visualbrony once again with another video for Pony and Wolf Productions. And today we are reading the story, Are You There, Twilight? It's Twilight! By Forgetful. I kinda like the premise of this, because, you know, Twilight and her time travel spell and all that. It was an amazing episode, one of my favorites actually. And so, you know. But as always, here's a list of those amazing patrons who keep this channel alive with their amazing monthly donations that keep us able to pay our bills and buy cat treats for our little Luna, who is currently sleeping on the bed on my blanket. Totally passed out, and yeah, she is just completely conked out. I just tried to pet her earlier and she didn't even purr or react in any way. She's completely passed out. So, now let's get into the meat of the story, because I am sure I am annoying you a great deal by now. Dubious Temporal Duplicates. Twilight Sparkle gazed at the dandelion sandwich on her plate with a melancholic expression. It was lunch and all that was available had to be dandelions. They were the most tasteless of culinary experiences. School lunches in general happened to be lackluster. The young mare needed to study. Celestia's summer sun celebration was on the horizon, drawing ever closer. Twilight hoped to make a breakthrough soon, one that could cement herself as a most faithful student. She wasn't sure why, but the answer dealt with an old mare's tale. The Mare in the Moon. Without warning, a blinding light filled the dark corridors of her humble astronomy tower. Twilight lifted her hoof to block out the fiery blaze. Spike curled up in his bed after an all-nighter, snoring away during such an amazing occurrence. Twilight Sparkle? A silhouette of an alicorn stepped from the light, her voice that of elegance and eternal wisdom. Celestia? Twilight shielded herself from the light. No, it is I, you! The voice giggled with satisfaction. Who? Twilight scrunched her muzzle, confused as the light faded back into the abyss, leaving only a gangly long version of herself standing before her. Sweet Celestia, when did I become anorexic? Twilight gasped at such a horrid glimpse into her future. I'm not anorexic, I'm an alicorn, her future self spoke in a cocky tone of self-superiority. Uh-huh. Does alicorn magic mutate the host? Twilight jumped off her seat and slowly walked around this odd temporal creature with much interest. Future Twilight glared, growing ever annoyed at the foolish child before her. No, I'm just a tad older. She swatted away the child as her muzzle scrunched up, embarrassed by the inspection. You're more than just old. I mean, my skeletal structure shouldn't enlarge like that. Twilight shuddered, thinking how painful such a change must be. Just shut up! Future Twilight snapped as her younger self let out a hoarse noise escape her lips in shock. Whatever, Celestia recolor. Twilight blew a loud raspberry. Listen, I'm here to help you impress every pony around you. Future Twilight grinned slyly to herself. Why? Twilight gave a stone-faced expression. Because I noticed how simple I acted as a child, especially with this dumb ticket ordeal. Future Twilight sighed as she slapped her forehead in dismay. So you're cheating me out of important experiences? Twilight tilted her head to the side, confused. Well, I'd rather the future remember me as a perfectionist. Besides, you'll still get the gist of everything, just not by looking dumb. Future Twilight let a loud squeak escape her lips. So, future me thought it wise to jeopardize the space and time continuum to look more impressive? Twilight sighed with a true sense of defeat from such a callous action. I've been so prosperous as a ruler that I've run out of present problems to look impressive with. Future Twilight flashed a nervous smile. How is that even possible? Twilight stumbled over her words. The sickly creature wrapping a bony hoof around her shoulder. Peace. Peace everywhere. She pointed off to nothing in particular in the room. I've metamorphosed into a Mary Sue. Twilight shuddered at such a bleak future. You have not? Future Twilight snorted. Have we solved every problem we come across? Twilight swallowed a large lump in her throat. Yes. Are we all powerful? Twilight shivered. Yes. Did we simply lock away our villains instead of dealing with them, therefore passing up vast amounts of character building? Twilight felt her chest tighten in fear. We turned them to stone. Do I have a rip-off or snip-off version of myself across several universes, nay, one perhaps a chibi version? Twilight chattered her teeth in despair. Several. Future Twilight grinned like the corporate husk she had become. Ah! Twilight screamed as she darted over the window in terror. Now let's make you perfect, by extension making myself perfect! Future Twilight towered over the poor child intimidatingly. Never! I'd rather live a simplistic life than risk becoming bland over time! Twilight's eyes darted over the room for an escape plan. We're not bland, we own a school! Future Twilight coughed in a lackluster fashion. I will not make these horrible mistakes! Twilight smiled as a truly impressive idea hit her. You don't have a choice. You're destined to become an Elecon princess. Future Twilight scoffed with satisfaction. So you think, but you're no longer in your own time. Twilight puffed out her chest proudly before standing up to her doppelganger. So? This is my time and nothing is set. Twilight grinned. Future Twilight suddenly widened her eyes in absolute shock at such a rookie mistake. Time travel was indeed such an unforgiving mistress, lashing any pony out of existence if not respectful of her power. You wouldn't dare! You care too much about impressing those around you! Future Twilight tried to light up her horn and cast the return spell. Not anymore, in fact, I'd rather just make ponies happy. Twilight clapped her hoofs together excitedly. No! My accomplishments! Future Twilight felt herself vanishing into a dark light, the world around her turning bleak as her whole body started to become transparent and see-through. Twilight's amazing, or the incredible! Twilight let her mind run free with thoughts of traveling around Equestria. My accomplishments! Man. Twilight suddenly faded into a faint echo of a time forgotten. At that moment, Twilight Sparkle felt a new spark of excitement enter her life. The bleak grey walls of her astronomy tower suddenly lit up with the vibrant colors of unknown possibilities. The great and powerful Twilight! Twilight Sparkle ran over to her full-length mirror in excitement, beaming from ear to ear. Twilight loves the sound of that! Twilight cantered across the room to wake up Spike, barely able to hold back her excitement. Before she could reach her little dragon friend, she stepped atop the old book of legends and adventures. With a sigh, she felt it was time to move on and find something new. With a swift toss, the book was sent out the window. A light blue unicorn passing by underneath couldn't help but be pelted atop the head by the falling tome. She rubbed her hoof through a frazzled snow-white mane in defeat. She wasn't the most popular of ponies with hardly any real friends, but things just seemed to never work out for one Trixie Lulumoon. Traveling isn't all it's cracked up to be, Trixie mumbled, just knowing that tome was going to leave a bump, her eyes falling over the book with a thin-raised brow. The man the moon? Trixie felt an odd shiver run down her lower back, the night slowly engulfing the day around her as everything grew dim. Arcing her eyes upwards to the sky, she could make out the ominous silhouette of a dark creature stretched across the moon. Oh my! Trixie bit her lower lip and gathered up the book. Celestia must be warned. Hello everyone and welcome back to Comment Time with Social Pony, where I remind you that Pony and Wolf Productions can be supported by the links down in the description below. Every dollar helps is needed and very much appreciated, and helps to keep the lights on around here and to buy cat treats for our little Luna, who is currently sleeping on my bed. So, let's get into the meat of the story because, yeah, Oh my god, guys. Just imagine this twist of events where then Trixie Lulamoon becomes Celestia's faithful student, meets Applejack, and maybe even becomes the element of magic. Oh my word. I love it. I want to have an entire universe around this. I love it. Because I'm actually someone, I like Trixie. So sincerely yours, Visual Pony, and let me know in the comments down below what you think about this universe idea. And as always, I hope that this story finds you well, body and mind.